Hey there, creative folks! Today we're going to be crafting a simple yet visually appealing low poly scene in Blender. It's gonna be a fun ride! If you find these videos beneficial, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing. Ready to dive in? Let's roll! Kick things off by launching Blender and opening an empty scene. Let's add a cube by hitting Shift+A, then selecting Cube. Head over to the Transform properties and stretch the cube 20 meters on both the X and Y axis. Meters on the Z axis. Next up, let's duplicate the cube using Shift-D. After the copy is made just right, click to leave it where it is. Now adjust the copy size to 0.5 on the Z-axis. Move this replica below the original by hitting G and then Z, aligning it to the bottom. Let's stretch this to 40 on the X-axis and 80 on the Y-axis. Voila! We've got our ground. Duplicate this ground layer by pressing Shift-D, then Z, and place it just where you want it. Time to get a little green. Select the top ground layer and stretch it to 40 along the EI axis, lining the edges up with the ground. This is going to be our grass. Duplicate this layer and align it to the other edge to create our road. Now let's give our building some character. Select it in edit mode, hit Ctrl-R to make some loop cuts, place your cuts, and choose the top box to create 3 loop cuts. Next, select the top box, hit S to scale it, select the roof surface to extrude your rooftop floor into the building. Now, repeat the same process with the bottom box. If you're feeling a bit lost, don't worry. Just rewind a bit and follow the steps again. It's a simple process once you get the hang of it. And remember, this method isn't the only way, but it's a good way to familiarize yourself with Blender's tools and navigation. To add a window, add a cube mesh. Resize the cube and align it to the face of the building, then resize it to a thin bar on the X-axis, and duplicate it along the X-axis using Shift and EIX. Rotate the duplicate 90 degrees on the Z-axis using Shift-D, R, Z, and typing 90. Then resize it to fit between the 2 bars and duplicate it to close the other end. Well done! You've made your window frame. Now hits and then scale on the Z-axis as shown. Now let's add some bars to our window. Add a cube, resize and place it, then create duplicates. To create the middle bar, duplicate one of these and rotate it, then place it in the center. Select all the bars and hit Ctrl-J to join them, then align them in the middle of the frame. Add a mesh for the window, resize the box to fit, then align it. Select the 3 window objects and hit Shift-HD to duplicate the windows on your building. You can duplicate a frame to use as the door and create a storefront window. Time for some decoration. Add another mesh to create ornaments along the edge of the building. Resize the box on the Z-axis and move it into position. Now for some aesthetics. Let's create a few bricks and scatter them on the building's side. time to paint our world. In the Materials tab, pick your favorite colors. I'll be choosing a vibrant orange for our building. Now select all the window frames, join them using Ctrl-EJ, and pick a color. I'll opt for a sunny yellow. For the bars, join them and color them black. Now let's create a door and window for the front. For our grass, let's paint it a lush green. We'll also add a small porch for a homely touch. Let's color our road a sleek black and add a new mesh for the pavement. Duplicate the pavement to the other end and create the road marking by resizing and duplicating it. Next, we're going to construct a front fence. Start by creating a short pole, then duplicate and space them out. This process also has a modifier, but we're sticking to the basics for now to help you master navigation and shortcuts. Now let's add some color to our decorations. Add a mesh for the front sign. For today, we'll leave the sign blank. Resize it to fit your preferred area. I'll make mine a bit smaller. And always remember to save your work periodically. Blender can sometimes crash, and you don't want to lose all your hard work. Next, let's illuminate our scene. Hit Shift+A and add some sunlight. Position it to your liking for the best effect. Let's add a ground layer and color it brown. Next, we'll change the background color. Add a camera, and then hit Render. Our artwork might look a bit flat right now, so let's bring it to life with an ADRI. This will make our scene much more vibrant and appealing. But first, let's add some trees. Add a cylinder mesh and resize it on the Z-axis, then add a UV sphere. Color the UV sphere green and the cylinder brown. Duplicate these to the other side of the house. You can also resize and duplicate the pavement to create some bushes next to the house. Now go to the Environment tab. Add an environment texture. To turn off the background, go down to Ray Visibility and switch off the camera. Adding some clouds would be nice, right? Use UV spheres and group them to form clouds. Duplicate and rotate them to your liking. If you find these videos beneficial, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing. Your support truly motivates me to keep producing more engaging content at a blue sky. This placement works just fine for me. Before we render, let's add a blue sky. Add a mesh and resize the box until it's large enough to cover our scene and camera. Color it blue. Select the sharp edges and hit Shift B, then scroll the mouse wheel to round off the edges. Then hit Render again. And voila! We've crafted a charming low poly building. Isn't it adorable? Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep experimenting, and before you know it, you'll be a Blender whiz. Thank you for joining me today, and happy blending!